Aloha, and welcome to Olelo Community Media Series on the Hawaii State Department of Education's exciting strategic plan for public schools. I'm Christina Kishimoto, Superintendent of the Hawaii DOE. The 2030 Promise Plan centers on 5 promises to students to be delivered across all public schools during the next 10 years. This series features an episode on each of these promises. I'll be joined by educational leaders and students who are living out these promises in their communities, spotlighting some of the engaging and innovative learning underway today in our public schools. As the organization that graduates more than 10,000 students each year, the Hawaii DOE is the chief source of talent in the state. The aim of the 2030 Promise Plan is to harness the power and promise of public education to deliver on equity, excellence, and innovation in every school so that all students are ready for college, career, and community and can contribute to building a thriving, sustainable Hawaii. Mahalo for joining us. There are no small promises for our students.
Aloha, I'm Jill Kuramoto. I'm joined by Dr. Christina Kishimoto, Superintendent of the Hawaii State Department of Education. We're going to be talking about the Hawaii Promise, which states, students will be educated within a public school system that is grounded in Ha, powers a multilingual society, and honors Hawaii's local and global contribution. So Dr. Kishimoto, tell us a little bit more about the Promise.
So Joe, we begin with Ha and with the promise of grounding our work in our local history and culture, because Hawaii has a long history of innovation and a long history of honoring public education. In fact, our public education system is the oldest west of the Mississippi, established by King Kamehameha III. What's so important about that is that not only are we one of the oldest public education systems, but we are also a community that was the most literate in the United States even before Hawaii became a state.
So building upon that history, the Promise is made up of 6 components.
There are six components to Na Hopena A, or breath, and it represents belonging, responsibility, excellence, aloha, total well-being, and Hawaii. And so if we begin with the concept of grounding ourselves in Ha, or in Hawaii, or Na Hopena A, we're really talking about honoring the rich history of our native Hawaiian culture and history here, but we're also talking about all of the various people and cultures that joined the native Hawaiian community and became this rich cultural society called Hawaii that's so exciting in contributing both to what's happening here, but also globally in terms of economic development and in terms of societal development.
So 6 components to Ha, but there's actually 5 promises.
There are 5 promises, and we begin with Ha, or Na Hopena A, because we really believe that honoring our students and what they bring to the classroom, what they bring to learning, and we match that up with what teachers bring to learning, and we create this rich cultural climate that says that we are come with learning. We are not empty vessels that get filled in the classrooms, but rather we all contribute to that learning environment. And then we match that up with the history of innovation here in Hawaii, and you can see the rich cultural context that we can bring to solving problems, to designing, to thinking about how we embrace our society and contribute to society.
Well, let's take a look at the department's Ha policy and how that's impacting learning environments in our public schools.
Growing up in Hawaii, it's often very difficult to contextualize the education that was given to us or to place the concepts of Western learning into this way we live. How do we help kids contextualize the learning we're trying to give them with the place around them, with the honua?
What is Ha?
It's the sharing of the breath of life, and it's a sharing of love, actually, caring for each other and caring for the earth.
People ask what is Ha in terms of na Hopena A. The first thing that I think of are system outcomes.
This strength and sense of belonging, it is very important to me that each one of my haumana know who they are, where they come from, where they live.
We are unique in Hawaii. Whether you were born here or not, you are part of it, and we all have a chance to contribute to it. In implementing the framework, we may find a common thread in other ways, in other parts of our lives, that we haven't already done.
You feel a kuleana to that place. You want to work hard and bring your best to make that place better. It's what's essentially Hawaiian. And I work to make that experience for my students. Seeing their smiles and seeing them all pili, all one, that exemplifies what Ha is all about.
Excellence. On a personal level, I'm always striving for that. Looking at our mo'olelo and just really the way my kupuna are and how we've been raised, excellence is central to a lot of what we do.
Hulawa ho'ohana mako ya aloha, ua a'o ka mako kumu ya mako a ku'oha no a no akahai, la no lokahi, o no olu'olu, he no ha'aha'a a o ahonui a, ua a'o lako ya mako I kia no ka mea o ke aloha, ka mea nui ma ka ohana a me ma wahua e o ka hula.
From the smallest component of the youngest children all the way up to the kupuna, we have a happy and healthy community. We have a community where people are safe, where they are nurtured, where they have what they need to live, that they have food, shelter, clothing, education, that they have work that's meaningful to them and helpful to the community.
Something that's even more important than the art itself is really the connection. Knowing that between Nalani and Honua is Kanaka, and that's our role, is between, we're the conduit. We connect those energies. Helping the kids to align their three piko and be one with all of that makes them better able to listen to the aina.
We're now joined by Ha practitioners from our schools. Lauren Pokipala is an English teacher and Colleen Everett, a social studies teacher at Castle High School. And we're joined by two of their students, Bronson Azama and Rayla Keanu. And welcome.
Thank you.
Tell us about your journey with Ha.
For us, the journey with Ha happened a few years ago. It was a model that was developed with a lot of input from our community partners that we actually have our students work with in the community. And when this model was presented to us at Castle High School, we were very excited to see what was being developed, and this idea of implementing Hawaiian thought and knowledge. When we first came across it, we were excited to kind of delve into it and see how we could best help our students, you know, see what this is about and how it could apply to them.
So tell me, how are you implementing it?
Well, I'm going to kind of turn that over to our students to talk about that.
So at Castle, we do like a number of things. They try to really allow us to sort of relate in the classroom to issues going on across Hawaii, really connecting us to that belonging and Hawaii component. We try to address issues. We've talked about a few issues this year, including like one issue in particular was like the Puahala rezone, which is going on in our community, and really like addressing these issues and looking at solutions for them. We also have done, Rayla actually has organized, this year we celebrated La Ku'oko'a, which was a Hawaiian kingdom holiday. And not too many people know about these kingdom holidays, so we're bringing back these ways where we can celebrate who we are and where we come from in our past and our history. And Rayla can also talk about, we do work sites as well.
Oh yeah, so we have many different work sites, and we reserve one of our periods, which is 6th period, to go out into our local communities, and we work in like fish ponds and coddle patches. For me, I found out who I was, or I connected to where I belong.
One of the things I'm so excited about is that HA really helps to help students connect to the curriculum in a really meaningful way, and I'm finding that our kumus are really enjoying making those purposeful connections for our students.
Well, what's nice also is the work sites are on the same page with the HA components, so they use the assessment tool that was created to help the students, you know, see like their progress from before when they first started worksite, and then to use that HA assessment tool at the end and to have that meaningful discussion. So, you know, the connection they can make with school and what's, you know, the hands-on learning outside, it made them a complete, you know, individual now, because they understood who they are, where they come from, and where they are going.
Very, very interesting. You're obviously really excited about this.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Creating a framework where every single community can figure out what works best for them, where teachers and Haumana are all a part of creating a pathway, a framework that makes things work best for our students.
The promise that I see is generational abundance. This sense that we work together to create not just survival for our community, but true thriving, that is generational because it's something that is a legacy that I passed down to my children, that I inherited from my kupuna, but generational in that it continues to create more of itself.
Now's the time to implement something, to save something that is Hawaii, so that we all have Hawaii. And if we could return 30, 40, 50 years from now, that we would recognize a place that we would choose to live in, that we would still choose to live in Hawaii 50 years from now.
And we're now joined by HA practitioners from Molokaʻi High. We welcome Vice Principal Kainoa Pali and Special Education Teacher Jessie Ford. So tell me about Aina-based learning and how that's working within your school and in the HA policy.
A lot of students that come into our schools are living that life. And I believe the HA framework allows us to embrace that in the form of mo'olelo, stories. And at the high school level, you know, mo'o means succession. You add mo'olelo, so every kid that comes through us from the K to 12 has their own story. And a lot of it is relevant. A lot of it is relationship with the Aina, how we take care of the land, how does that impact us. So a lot of our things that we do for our school resonates around that. You know, and it brings a sense of belonging. Everyone relates to the subject, but it also gives us a sense of responsibility. But at the same time, we expect excellence. You know, we expect our students to meet the minimum, shoot higher. And, you know, and then at the same time, we have a lot of kids with their own story. They get their own, some come from broken home, but the one thing that is common, they can relate to the Aina. They know how to take care of it. They grew up that way. And that's the total well-being. You know, that social emotional, you give them that support, you give them that safe place that allows them to nurture their education. And that kind of empowers us as school leaders. And as also the students, empowers them, hey, you know, the school likes what we're doing. And that kind of led us to Aha Opio, the youth summit. And I'll pass this on to Jessie.
We have a design team that we formed last year at the school level from K to 12 using the concept of aha kiole, where the aho, or the different strands of mana'o or wisdom, is intertwined into a strong cord that would connect the generations, like Kainoa was saying about generational abundance. And so the design team is kupuna to opio, and we integrate student voice into the planning. The use of mo'olelo as a way to convey understanding is powerful for the legacy of what people in Molokaʻi are wanting perpetuated through the youth, and wanting the responsibility that the youth have when they come out of school to help create good decisions for the place that they come from. But it's also something that is connecting deeper, so that there's the strong ownership that they feel when they leave school.
It's something incredible that Molokaʻi High is doing in terms of using HA as that basis of designing curriculum and engagement, but also helping the rest of our community understand how to embed rigor and ensure that our students, through this Aina-based curriculum, is able to compete on a global scale. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I've been so impressed with the readiness of our students coming out of Molokaʻi High.
To touch base on that, I think Molokaʻi is so unique that we think about K to 12, or the P20. And with Aho Appeal, we allow that teachers, representative kupunas, to become part of this AHA. And that's the AHA Molokaʻi AHA design, whether it's instructional leadership or whether it's the HA. But at the same time, we share that ideas, and that's the strength that we draw on, like robotics and being successful. But they get their foundation at the elementary levels, which is why they're being successful as we go up. And if you take that same model, you add it to the instructional, the goal is hopefully whatever they learn, the foundation, the more little continues up to middle school, 12th grade. And I think that's what the Aino base, all of that brings us together. And what Jesse said, that AHA, the aho, the AHA is the thread that brings that, everyone together, and then that's what makes us who we are, and that's the uniqueness.
Kainoa, Jesse, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Students at Kealakehe Intermediate documented the 3rd annual HA Summit, which was held in Waimea on the Big Island in the spring. The summit brings school and district-level HA practitioners together to share Aina and Hawaiian culture-based learning. Here's some of what they captured.
The importance of this place, Puanui is the name of the Ahupua'a, is that it was a part of a huge dry land agricultural field system called the Kohala Field System that once fed hundreds and thousands of people. The way that we work together, the stories that we share about one another, establishing relationships, and working together on a project that we can see to fruition allows us to integrate a lot of our Hawaiian values and the whole idea of working interdependently.
We gave today, but we also received from this place today. Okay, so hopefully this clothing helps you to think about what that was for you.
Yes.
Another focus of the Hawaii Promise is embracing the strengths of the many cultures that make up the fabric of our island home. One way the Hawaii DOE is doing that is through the Seal of Biliteracy, which is awarded to graduating seniors who demonstrate proficiency in at least 2 languages. The class of 2017, which was the first to have access to this program, graduated 39 students with the seal. 2 years later, that number rose to 246. Joining us in studio are 2 graduates who have earned the seal. Shayna Arakaki, class of 2018, Moanalua High, and Mariana Wheeler, class of 2019, Roosevelt High. Welcome to the program. Congratulations to both of you for earning your seal.
Thank you.
Shayna, I know you have your seal in Japanese, and Mariana, yours is in Spanish.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me about how are you using the seal now?
So I put in the seal of biliteracy into my resume, and it's actually really helped me get my first job. During my first job, it was a big retail business, but it was a group interview, but I was going against this other girl. She had so much more experience than me, and you know, she had a previous job before, but they chose me over her because of the seal of biliteracy. So the seal of biliteracy, I've been using it to open new doors, to take advantage of what I can do, and to, you know, to just open new opportunities for new jobs, new experiences.
Mariana, you?
So it's kind of funny because I want to be a journalist as well, and so I've always been fascinated with the language I speak at home, Spanish. So it's always been a dream of mine to be a bilingual journalist. Like, so my dream job is to work like at Univision or something like that. And it's actually nice because I'm working now and I've been able to use it with customers that have a little bit trouble speaking English. So I always translate for my job, and I've been able to use it. Well, I went to Italy this spring and I was able to use it in Italy, which was fascinating because I was able to communicate another language other than English. So I hope that speaking Spanish and earning the CO will help me in the long run with the journalism job that I dream of, and I hope it'll create more opportunities for me in the workforce.
So one of the goals we have in the Department of Ed is to expand our language programs and to have our students at the youngest level have access to either strengthening their home language, which may not be English, or adding a second or even third language. It sounds like this is a real value add, and you're in college already.
Yeah.
So talk about that connection with your studies in marine biology, I believe it is.
So, you know, a lot of people, they think if you're bilingual, it's better to get a job, or it's easier to get a job like in retail or customer service. But, you know, it opens new doors to everywhere, like places you don't even think about, such as the NOAA. They actually have people who translate pamphlets into Japanese so that the tourists know, you know, what's going on. And there was actually a problem that said, on the pamphlets in Japanese, it said, hey, you should come to Hawaii and welcome the sea turtles, even though you're not supposed to touch the sea turtles. That was a really big problem. Japanese people, some of them actually went to court for it and whatnot. So, yeah, so, you know, it's really, it sounds like, even like in an NOAA, like, you wouldn't even think you would need Japanese, but, you know, it's like all these like different places you wouldn't think of would need a bilingual speaker.
And that vision you have of joining Univision, which is a global market, and as a Spanish speaker as well, placer tener alguien que habla español. So talk about how this is going to help you to really market yourself in a competitive space.
Yeah, well, I think for America now, America is known to be, English is the primary language, which I don't think should be in the case anymore. I think English, not everyone's going to know English, you know, and it's, in other countries, if we see other countries, a lot of people speak more than one language. So I think, especially Spanish now, Spanish is very global, and a lot of people who are not native speakers have been speak it, and they're able to like learn from new jobs and have new jobs as well.
I'm so excited for the both of you. I think your futures are just going to be incredible. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Safety and total well-being is something near and dear to all our families. We're joined by an educational leader who has made that work central to the experience at her school. In addition to leading Kanoelani Elementary, Principal Stacie Kunihisa is also Hawaii's 2019 National Distinguished Principal. Welcome, Stacie.
Hi.
Tell us about your work building a caring culture at your school.
You know, I think the most important thing in any school or any organization is to love what you do and to feel a sense of, that sense of belonging and the spirit of Ha. Most importantly, at our school at Kanoelani, the satisfaction rate 7 years ago, we were at 50%, and now we're at 99%. And that speaks volumes to the efforts and the energy around pulling together as one spirit and one team. Initially, we started with the fish philosophy, which comes from Pike's Place, and it's the idea of
you have to play where you work and enjoy each other. So we did things like having our faculty meetings at bowling alleys and going there to bowl. We did scavenger hunts at the mall and really did a lot of team bonding and building. And if you don't take care of those relationships in your organization, nothing really can move forward. So it began there with playing. So we instituted an Employee of the Month program and Student of the Week programs to really recognize and celebrate our differences and each other, to be able to come together and be one. Our biggest motto is "We is greater than me."
Stacie, you've built great community at your school, and the last time I was on your campus, I was so impressed by the student voices and how strong and articulate they are about how they want to learn, where they want to learn, how they want to interact with one another. Talk a little bit about what you've done to really build up that self-empowerment, self-voice for students.
I think it begins with trust, and it's trust with the adults first. So once that was established where you can fail and it's okay and you can step out of your boundaries, then it trickles down to the students and they feel this sense of empowerment and entitlement that we are there for them. We are servant leaders to our students, our community, and it is not about our needs. It's what do they want? What do they need at recess? What do they need in their classrooms? The newest idea is Got Ideas on our website that anybody can click on and tell us how to improve our school, and that's our calling.
So in a high-pressure society, to be able to know that you can make mistakes and try it together as community is a powerful practice.
So tell me about, what does Hawaii Public School in 2030 look like to you?
Exciting, scary, this idea of really the accountability system has to change. And it has to change actually at the university level, because with such strict guidelines around accountability, it's not just about the test scores. I think the bottom line is we need good people. We need people who are emotionally intelligent, who know how to interact with each other, who can work on a team successfully. So the vision in my mind would be different ways to measure success, different ways to showcase student learning and growth, and different ways to celebrate our differences and what makes us unique in Hawaii.
Thank you so much, Stacie.
Thank you.
So Superintendent Kishimoto, some final thoughts on the Hawaii Promise.
Well, you can see how deep and powerful starting with Hawaii is. It's about languages and culture. It's about history. It's about honoring voice and honoring every individual that's part of the education system, from teachers to leaders to parents to students, community members, all working together.
Thank you for joining us for this detailed look at the Hawaii Promise in the Hawaii DOE's 2030 Promise Plan. Our next episode will look at the Equity Promise with a focus on access, personalized learning, and quality. We'll leave you with a look at Unity Day in October. Public schools showed their support for culture of kindness, acceptance, and aloha by wearing orange. This simple statement was supported by the Hawaii DOE, which sent orange wristbands with that message for everyone to wear. Here's what Unity Day looked like at Moanalua Intermediate on Maui. And Unity Day will be celebrated every October to infuse belonging and inclusion in our educational communities. Aloha.